Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, this is like my fifth take, but because I can't get this right, but welcome to the video, the first FAFFFL video of the season. This video is presented to you on a tablet, so please bear with me. We're going to look at the preview for the upcoming survey I'm going to send out shortly after this video goes live. It's asking a very important question that came up the most when people were asked if they had any questions. It also was the most divided of the questions of the survey. So here it is. Last season, we had 6 teams total. And for the first time, not everyone made it through. In fact, 4 teams only made it, while 2 teams were eliminated. So we have to do it differently this season because we have 8 teams. Here are the options. Pay attention closely because they all vary in different ways. This one right here, every team makes it in the playoffs. 8 teams total, every single one makes it. If you look, there's 3 rounds, round 1, round 2, and the championship round. So that's important to know because when there was more playoff rounds, there's less regular season weeks. I'll say that again. When there's more playoff rounds, there's less regular season weeks because there's 2 weeks per round. Well, maybe, unless people choose differently down here. But no matter what, 2 weeks or 1 week per round, there's going to be less regular season weeks when there's 3. That's just simple math. Anyways, best team goes against the worst team, number 1 versus number 8. Second best goes against the second worst, number 2 versus number 7. And so forth, so on, so forth, so on and so forth. I think that's how you say it. Next down here, a little different. 5 teams make the playoffs. Number 1, number 2, and number 3 all get byes. So they all get a skip in the first round. I mentioned this because I did not describe it correctly in the first survey, so this is very important. The only teams to go against each other in the first round are number 4 and number 5. The 4th best and the 5th best. And then it all breaks down to round 2, and then it all breaks down to the championship round. The worst 3 teams do not make it through. They will just be losers. So that is this option. This option up here, 6 teams in the playoffs, 2 teams eliminated. Very similar to the 5 teams in the playoffs. The only difference is only number 1 and number 2 get a bye week, where 4 and 5 and 3 and 6 will have to go against each other to earn the right to face number 1 and number 2 in round 2, and then eventually a championship round. So these 3 are very interesting because they all take 3 rounds to finish. That could be 3 weeks in fantasy football time, or it could be 6 weeks in fantasy football time. Either way, that's a lot of time, which means they're basically going to take up regular season weeks that could be happening. So keep that in mind. Whereas this one is only 2 rounds, but it's a little more cutthroat because 4 teams will make it and 4 teams won't. We're literally cutting our entire league in half in order to have 2 rounds of the 4 best teams. The reason this might be very appealing to some people is maybe some people are feeling very cutthroat, they're feeling very competitive, and they know they're going to be part of the top 4. So you can vote for this if you think that. But another benefit of it is we're going to have more regular season weeks, no matter what. Whether you vote for 1 week for this bottom one down here, or 2 weeks, this one is going to give us more regular season weeks. The reason people like that is because it gives you a chance to get more wins under your belt to make it to a top spot in the playoffs. So that's the best way I can describe it. Hopefully this is helpful. And then of course down here, the big question, should each playoff round be given 2 weeks or 1 week? So 2 weeks, of course, leads to more point accumulation because let's say you get 100 points in week 1 and you get 150 in week 2. You add those up, that's your total points for your round of the playoffs. That's not how the regular season works. The regular season is just like where 1 week, you're given 1 week to get as many points as you can. If you lose, you're out. No chance of coming back in the second week. People like the 2 weeks because It gives you a chance to come back if you're having a bad week in the playoffs, which happens, especially towards the end of the season. So 2 weeks is very appealing for that, but it also leads to less regular season weeks. There's a good and bad to everything. These are going to be the questions that I'm going to ask of you in the next survey. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.